The crowded docking bay of Star Station Echo buzzed with activity as the latest trade vessel from the Outer Rim made its berth. Engineers and dock workers scurried around, securing the massive ship to the station's moorings. Amid this orchestrated chaos, Alex Reed, a mid-30s engineer with a knack for solving problems on the fly, was overseeing the integration of alien technology on the docking systems. "All right, team, let's make sure the gravitational aligners are set to Thalarian specs. We don't want a repeat of last week's fiasco," Alex shouted over the din to his crew, a mixed group of young human engineers eager to prove their skills. As Alex adjusted the settings on a nearby control panel, a group of Thalarians, distinguishable by their shimmering blue skin and elongated limbs, disembarked from the vessel. They were led by Lora, a scientist part of the Thalarian delegation sent to share knowledge and technology. Her curious eyes quickly took in the bustling scene, stopping on Alex, who was now knee-deep in cables and holographic displays. "Is there an issue with our docking alignment? We were told human stations had adapted to our technology," Lora said, approaching Alex with a cautious but intrigued demeanor. Alex looked up, a tool still in hand, and wiped his brow. "Just a minor tweak needed. Your ships are faster and, honestly, a bit more sophisticated than what we're used to." "I'm Alex Reed, by the way. Lora. I oversee technological integration for the Thalarian Council." "It seems you humans adapt quickly," she replied, her tone both impressed and formal. "Quick adaptation is pretty much in our job description," Alex joked, standing up to greet her properly. "Do you want to take a look at our setup? I could use an expert's eye to make sure everything is up to standard." Lora nodded, and together, they walked towards the control panel. Alex explained the modifications made to accommodate the Thalarian technology. Lora listened intently, occasionally pointing out adjustments and explaining their functions more deeply. "You have an efficient way of handling complex systems." "It's quite fascinating," Lora observed, her gaze fixed on a holographic schematic. "Thanks, Lora. Learning from each other. That's the point of all this, right?" Alex said, scrolling through the data. "How about I show you around the station a bit? There's a lot more human tech I'd love to get your thoughts on." "I would appreciate that, Alex. Understanding human engineering firsthand would greatly benefit our cooperation," Lora agreed. As they toured the station, their conversation delved into more personal territories, hobbies, interests, and even views on interstellar politics. It was clear that both were not just brilliant in their fields, but also deeply curious about the universe and its myriad cultures. "So, you've never tried ice cream?" Alex asked with a hint of surprise as they shared a light meal in the station's commissary. "No, should I have?" Lora asked, her expression a mix of amusement and curiosity. "It's practically a rite of passage on Earth. Here, you've got to try some," Alex said, ordering a small bowl from the food synthesizer. He watched her reaction as she tasted it, her eyes lighting up with delight. "This is surprisingly pleasant. Cold, sweet, creamy, very different from Thalarian desserts. See, exchanges like this, simple but meaningful. We get to learn from each other, grow together. Makes all the hard work worth it," Alex said, a genuine smile spreading across his face. Lora nodded in agreement, her own smile mirroring his. "Indeed, Alex. It's these moments that remind us why we explore the stars, not just for technology or science, but for connections like these." Their laughter blended with the hum of the busy station, marking the beginning of a unique and promising partnership. As they finished their meal, both felt a sense of anticipation for the possibilities that lay ahead, not just for their technologies, but for their newfound friendship as well. The morning light filtered through the panoramic windows of Star Station Echo, illuminating the cultural exchange facility with a warm glow. Alex and Lora walked side by side, their previous engagements having paved the way for what promised to be an enlightening day. Today, Alex planned to introduce Lora to some of the marvels of human technology and art. "So, what's first on the agenda?" Lora asked, her eyes scanning the various displays and interactive modules around the room. "Thought we'd start with something fun. Human music." "Sound good," Alex suggested, leading her towards a section of the facility dedicated to musical history. As they approached, another human, Marcus, a cultural liaison, joined them. "Good to see you, Alex." And this must be Lira. I've heard great things. Ready to dive into some Earth classics? Indeed, Marcus. I am eager to experience human art forms, Lira responded, her curiosity piqued. Marcus activated a holographic interface that began to play a selection of music, starting from classical compositions and moving through to modern pop and rock. Lira listened intently, occasionally moving in rhythm with the music. It's very expressive, Lira commented, so varied in emotion and structure. Music's a big part of who we are, Alex said. It's about expression and, sometimes, revolution. Each era tells a different story. Marcus nodded in agreement. Exactly. Let's try something a bit interactive. Ever tried playing an instrument? I have not, Lira admitted, her tone a mixture of excitement and nervousness. Marcus guided her hands to a digital piano, explaining the basic notes and encouraging her to mimic a simple melody. With Alex looking on, Lira cautiously tapped the keys, her initial hesitance turning into delight as she played. This is quite fascinating, Lira said, laughing. A very tactile form of art. Wait till you try the guitar, Alex chimed in, handing her an acoustic guitar from a nearby display. Under Marcus and Alex's guidance, Lira strummed, her fingers awkwardly but enthusiastically trying to form chords. Alex stood beside her, showing her the finger placements, their arms occasionally brushing, eliciting a shared, shy smile. After the music session, they moved on to visual arts, where another human expert, Dr. Helena, joined them. I've set up a virtual gallery of Earth's most influential artworks, Helena explained. From Renaissance to modern digital art, you'll see it all here. Lira was captivated by the artwork, with Alex and Helena providing context about each piece's historical and emotional significance. The discussions were deep, touching on themes of love, conflict, and dreams, universal concepts that resonated with Lira. The depth of human emotion is well captured in your art. It's very different from Thalarian expressions, but similar in its pursuit to understand life, Lira observed. I'm glad you see that, Helena responded. It shows that despite our differences, at some level, we're all looking for the same answers. As the tour concluded, Alex, Lira, Marcus, and Helena gathered at a small cafe within the facility. Over cups of coffee for the humans and a Thalarian nutrient blend for Lira, they discussed the day's experiences. Your culture is rich with nuances, Lira said to the group. Today was an enlightening journey through your history and emotions, and there's still so much to show you, Alex added, his eyes meeting Lira's. Hope you're up for more. I am, Alex. This exchange is more than just learning. It's about building bridges, Lira replied, her tone sincere. They all nodded, the sentiment echoing in their minds as they parted ways, promising to meet again soon. For Alex and Lira, the day had not only broadened their understanding of each other's worlds, but had also deepened the connection that had begun to subtly weave between them. The soft hum of the space station's zero-gravity recreation area was a subtle reminder of the marvels of human engineering. Alex and Lira floated gracefully into the large, dome-shaped chamber, their bodies slowly adapting to the weightlessness. The area was designed for relaxation and offered a variety of activities that were as much about fun as they were about physical training. Ever tried zero gravity before? Alex asked, his voice tinged with excitement as he watched Lira acclimate to her surroundings. A few times, Lira responded, a cautious smile forming. Thalarian recreational areas are similar, but your design seems more playful. That's humans for you. Always looking for a fun angle, Alex joked. He pushed off from the wall, spinning slightly as he moved towards a rack of floating orbs used in a game resembling human soccer. Care to try a game? Alex suggested, grabbing a couple of orbs and tossing one gently towards Lira. Catching it, Lira laughed. You're on. But I warn you, I'm a quick learner. The game began with playful competitiveness, the ball floating between them as they maneuvered around each other. Laughter and shouts filled the area as they attempted to outscore each other, their movements becoming more fluid and confident in zero gravity. After the game, they floated over to a nearby viewing port, where they could see the curvature of the nearby planet against the backdrop of space. It was a breathtaking sight, one that lent itself to quieter conversation and reflection. "This is beautiful," Lora said softly, her eyes wide with wonder. "Seeing your planet like this, it's different than just reading about it or seeing images." "Yeah, it never gets old," Alex agreed, joining her by the window. They shared a moment of silence, just enjoying the view. Alex broke the silence. "You know, I've always wondered what it would be like to visit other worlds. What's your planet like?" Lora turned to him, her face animated by the glow of the planet below. "It's vibrant. Thalaria is covered in vast forests and oceans that sparkle under our two suns. I wish I could show you." "I'd like to see that someday," Alex said, genuinely. "Maybe we could." His words trailed off as they both became aware of their proximity in the confined space. Lora looked into his eyes, and impulsively, perhaps driven by the serene setting, she reached out and placed her hand on his. Alex didn't pull away. Instead, he turned his hand over, his fingers intertwining with hers. "Lora, she smiled, squeezing his hand gently. "I know, Alex. There's something unexpected happening here." Neither of them needed to say more. The moment felt right, and slowly, drawn together by the intimate setting and the emotions that had been building, they moved closer. Alex tilted his head, his breath mingling with hers, and then, gently, he kissed her. It was a soft, exploratory kiss, one that spoke of curiosity and burgeoning feelings. Lora responded in kind, her free hand coming up to touch Alex's cheek. They floated there, connected by touch and the silence of space, the stars and the distant planet bearing witness to their growing connection. After a moment, they pulled back slightly, still holding onto each other, their smiles shy but genuine. "This is definitely an interesting cultural exchange," Alex murmured, his forehead resting against hers. "Best kind," Lora replied, her laughter light and happy. They spent a bit more time at the viewing port, talking softly about hopes, dreams, and the possibilities that the universe might hold for them. As they eventually made their way back to the main area of the station, their hands remained linked, a silent acknowledgement of the new and exciting path they were now exploring together. Lyra's quarters were a blend of Thalarian elegance and functional design, with surfaces that shimmered under the soft lighting and holograms of distant Thalarian landscapes casting serene glows. Alex had never been to this part of the station, where the alien delegates resided, and everything from the architecture to the atmosphere felt intriguingly foreign. "Welcome, Alex," Lora said as she led him through the entrance. "I wanted to show you something from my world. It's a meditation practice. I think you'll find it quite enlightening." "Thanks for inviting me," Alex replied, looking around with a mixture of curiosity and admiration. "Your space feels different, peaceful." Lora smiled and guided him to a central area where a holographic projector sat. At her command, the room dimmed and the projector lit up, casting a holographic forest around them. Sounds of Thalarian wildlife filled the air, and the floor seemed to soften, mimicking the feel of natural ground. "This is how we meditate, immersed in nature, even when we're light years away from home," Lora explained, stepping into the center of the holographic forest. She sat down cross-legged and patted the ground next to her, inviting Alex to join. Alex sat beside her, mimicking her posture. "What do we need to do? Just follow my lead. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and let your mind wander through the forest," she instructed. They sat in silence, breathing slowly. Alex felt an unexpected calm wash over him as the sounds of the virtual forest seeped into his consciousness. After a few minutes, Lora began to speak softly, guiding their meditation. "Imagine the life around us, the interconnectedness of all things. On Thalaria, we believe that understanding this connection deepens our respect for life and each other." Alex nodded slightly, his eyes still closed, absorbing her words and the serene environment they created. As the meditation continued, he found his thoughts drifting not just through the forest but also to the woman beside him, wondering about the depths of her mind and the world she came from. When they finally opened their eyes, there was a moment of shared vulnerability. Lora turned to him, her expression open and curious. "What did you feel?" "It's hard to explain," Alex started, hesitating as he tried to find the right words. A sense of calm, yes, but also a connection. Not just to the environment, but to you, to this moment. Lyra's eyes lit up with understanding. That's exactly what it's meant to inspire. I'm glad you felt it, Alex. They rose to their feet, and Lyra moved to deactivate the projector. The room returned to its original state, but the feeling of the forest lingered between them. I have something else to show you, Lyra said, moving towards a small alcove where various objects from Thalaria were displayed. She picked up a small, intricately carved object and handed it to Alex. This is a talar, a symbol of friendship on Thalaria. I'd like you to have it. Alex took it, feeling the weight and texture. I'm honored, Lyra. Thank you. Their eyes met, and a silent agreement passed between them, a mutual recognition of the deepening bond. Would you like to stay for dinner? Lyra asked, a hopeful note in her voice. I could prepare something traditional from Thalaria. I'd love that, Alex replied, his voice warm. And maybe I can share something from Earth in return? That sounds perfect, Lyra responded, her smile bright. As Lyra prepared the meal, they continued to chat, sharing stories of their homes and cultures. The evening flowed effortlessly, filled with laughter and discoveries of each other's worlds. It wasn't just a sharing of food but of lives and experiences, a merging of worlds that felt as natural as the meditation had. By the time dinner was over, it was clear that what had started as a cultural exchange had blossomed into something richer. A friendship poised on the brink of something more, held together by the threads of understanding and curiosity they had woven together. Alex's quarters on Star Station Echo were modest but welcoming, filled with personal touches from his travels across the galaxy. A patchwork of cultural artifacts, each with a story behind it. Tonight, he had invited Lyra to share a homemade dinner, a gesture to express his appreciation for the Thalarian traditions she'd introduced him to. Smells incredible, Alex, Lyra remarked as she entered, her eyes taking in the array of dishes spread out on the small dining table. Thanks, Lyra. I tried to mix a little of both our cultures into the meal. Hope it tastes as good as it smells, Alex replied with a hopeful grin. He'd spent the afternoon preparing a fusion of Earth cuisine with Thalarian spices Lyra had shown him. They sat down and Alex served the dishes. Spiced human-style steak with a side of Thalarian vegetables that subtly changed color as they cooled. Lyra was visibly impressed, tasting each dish with a delighted curiosity. This is wonderful, Alex. You've blended the flavors beautifully. It's like experiencing a new culture altogether, Lyra praised, her tone filled with genuine appreciation. Alex smiled, pleased. I'm glad you think so. Cooking is like engineering to me. You have to know how all the parts come together to create something greater. As they ate, the conversation drifted naturally from culinary arts to personal ambitions and dreams. The intimacy of the setting and the shared meal seemed to dissolve any remaining formalities between them. Lyra then shared more about her life on Thalaria, her family, and what had inspired her to become a scientist. Alex listened intently, his respect for her deepening. What about you, Alex? What drives you? Lyra asked, turning the focus towards him. I guess it's the idea of discovery, of finding new ways to connect dots and build bridges, whether it's between stars or people, Alex responded thoughtfully. Their eyes met across the table, and something unspoken passed between them. A recognition of the connection they were building, not just between cultures, but between hearts. After dinner, Lyra helped Alex clear the table, insisting despite his protests. As they worked together, their movements around the small kitchen became a dance of sorts, each anticipating and mirroring the other's actions. With the chores done, Alex suggested they move to the living area, where he had set up a small, cozy space with cushions on the floor and a view of the stars outside his window. Ever tried Earth-style dancing? Alex asked as he selected music from his collection, something slow and soft. Not really, but I'm willing to learn if you're willing to teach, Lyra replied, her voice laced with amusement. Alex held out his hand, and Lyra took it, letting him guide her into a basic slow dance. As they moved to the music, Alex showed her the steps, simple and intimate. Lyra followed his lead, her movements graceful and fluid. You're a fast learner, Alex remarked, his voice low as they swayed in time to the music. With a good teacher, It's easy, Lyra responded, her eyes locked on his. As the song continued, they drew closer, the initial gap between them narrowing until they were mere breaths apart. Alex could feel the warmth of Lyra's body, the gentle touch of her hands on his shoulders, stirring feelings he'd been cautious to acknowledge. Lyra, Alex began, hesitant. Yes? Lyra prompted, her gaze intense, inviting. This feels right, doesn't it? Alex asked, not just referring to the dance, but to the burgeoning relationship that neither of them had explicitly acknowledged until now. It does, Lyra whispered back, her voice a mix of nervousness and excitement. Encouraged, Alex leaned in and kissed her, gentle and questioning at first. Lyra responded warmly, deepening the kiss, her arms wrapping around him. As they broke apart, she rested her forehead against his, a contented sigh escaping her lips. Human, you are doing it so fast. Please don't stop, Lyra breathed out, her words not just about the dance but the thrilling, terrifying speed of their emotional closeness. I won't, Alex promised, holding her close, feeling as though pieces of a puzzle were falling into place between them. They spent the rest of the evening talking, kissing, and simply enjoying each other's company, the stars outside the window bearing silent witness to their growing bond. As the night grew deep and the music faded into soft whispers, Alex and Lyra knew that they had crossed a threshold, their lives weaving together in unexpected and beautiful ways. The gentle hum of the space station provided a soothing background as Alex and Lyra made their way to the station's observatory, a quiet spot perfect for deeper conversations. The recent developments in their relationship had brought both excitement and an undercurrent of uncertainty, given the complexities of interspecies relationships. They knew it was time to address the potential challenges head-on. As they entered the dimly lit observatory, the vastness of space stretched out before them, dotted with stars and galaxies, each light a reminder of the immense universe they were part of. Beautiful, isn't it? Alex remarked, gesturing towards the panoramic view of space. It always puts things into perspective, Lyra agreed, her gaze fixed on the celestial display. Makes our concerns seem smaller, yet also more significant. Alex nodded, understanding her implication. Lyra, about us. Lyra turned to face him, her expression serious. We need to consider what this means, Alex. Not just for us, but for how others see us. Yes, Alex acknowledged, taking a deep breath. We come from different worlds, literally. There are bound to be challenges, misunderstandings, and regulations, Lyra added, a note of concern in her voice. Interspecies relationships are rare and not without complications. Both our communities might have reservations. Alex reached for her hand, an instinctive gesture of support. I know, and I don't want to cause you any trouble back home. Lyra squeezed his hand in return, her eyes meeting his earnestly. And I don't want to be the reason you feel isolated here, among your own people. They stood in silence for a moment, each lost in thought, the weight of their situation settling between them. Finally, Alex spoke up, his voice firm. Whatever it takes, Lyra. I think what we have is worth the effort. I want to face these challenges with you, if you're willing. Lyra's eyes softened, the corners crinkling with a smile. I feel the same, Alex. It's daunting, but I don't want to step back from what we're starting here. Then we'll figure it out together, Alex proposed. Maybe we start by talking to our respective leaders. See if there's precedent, get advice. An excellent idea, Lyra agreed. Transparency could help us navigate the expectations and find a way to be together without crossing lines that shouldn't be crossed. The decision made, they spent a few more moments in the observatory, discussing possible scenarios and preparing themselves for the conversations ahead with their superiors. As they talked, their resolve strengthened, fortified by the mutual understanding and respect that had become the bedrock of their relationship. Before they left, Alex stopped Lyra with a gentle touch on her arm. Hey, no matter what happens, I'm glad for all of this. For us. Lyra reached up, her hand briefly caressing his cheek. So am I, Alex. No matter the challenges, us. It's been worth every moment. With a final look at the stars, They left the observatory hand in hand, ready to face whatever lay ahead together. Their conversation hadn't resolved all the uncertainties, but it had reinforced their commitment to each other, a commitment to explore not just the stars, but the depth of the connection they had discovered. The diplomatic gala on Star Station Echo was a grand affair, drawing delegates from numerous species and galaxies. The hall buzzed with the murmur of a dozen languages, the air scented with an array of exotic aromas from various alien cuisines. For Alex and Lora, tonight was more than a social event. It was their first public appearance as a couple, an unveiling of their relationship to the interstellar community. As they entered the hall together, Lora in a shimmering Thalarian gown that reflected the ambient light with every step, and Alex in a sharp, formal Earth suit, they attracted curious glances from many attendees. "I must admit, I'm a bit nervous," Lora whispered to Alex as they navigated through the crowd. Alex squeezed her hand reassuringly. "Me too. But we're in this together, right?" "Right?" Lora smiled back, her confidence bolstered by his support. Their first challenge of the evening came sooner than expected. A group of Thalarian officials, led by Ambassador Threx, approached them. Threx's eyes narrowed slightly as he took in their joined hands. "Lora, Alex, this is quite a surprise," Threx commented, his voice neutral but his eyes sharp. "Good evening, Ambassador," Alex greeted, maintaining a polite tone. "Lora and I wanted to be open about our relationship. We believe it can serve as a bridge between our cultures." Threx studied them for a moment before replying. "An unusual choice, Lora. We will discuss this later." As the group moved on, Lora let out a soft sigh. "Well, that could have gone worse. It could have gone better, too," Alex noted. "But let's not let it dampen the evening." They mingled through the crowd, engaging in conversations with various guests, human and alien alike. Alex introduced Lora to some of his colleagues from the engineering division, who were more than welcoming. One of them, a jovial engineer named Carl, clapped Alex on the back. "Good to see you two making it official. Don't worry about the stiff collars. Most of us are rooting for you." "Thanks, Carl," Alex replied, grateful for the support. Throughout the evening, Alex and Lora encountered a spectrum of reactions, from subtle disapproval to genuine enthusiasm. They handled each interaction with grace, gradually feeling more at ease. As the evening drew to a close, they stepped out onto a balcony overlooking the space station's array of shimmering lights against the backdrop of deep space. Tonight was a big step, wasn't it? Alex mused as they watched a distant ship glide past. "It was," Lora agreed. "But seeing some of our friends and colleagues react so positively gives me hope." Alex turned to her, his expression serious. "Lora, whatever comes, I want you to know. I'm committed to this, to us. If we need to fight a little harder to be together, then that's what we'll do." Lora reached up to touch his cheek, her eyes reflecting the starlight. "And I'm with you every step of the way. No matter what our cultures say, this feels right." They stood together in silence, comforted by the vastness of space around them, a reminder of the infinite possibilities that lay ahead. It was a moment of unity, not just for them but potentially for their respective species. "Let's go back inside," Lora said after a while, her voice steady and determined. "We have friends to thank and perhaps a few minds to change." Hand in hand, they returned to the gala, their resolve strengthened, ready to face whatever challenges the future held. The night had been a testament to their commitment, and as they re-entered the hall, it was clear they were prepared to navigate the complexities of their interstellar relationship together. The newly established Joint Human-Thalarian Research Facility was a testament to the progress and possibilities that had stemmed from Alex and Lora's relationship. Located on the fringe of explored space, the facility stood as a shining example of cooperation and innovation. Today, Alex and Lora were among the teams celebrating its grand opening, a milestone that marked not only a professional achievement but also a personal victory. As they toured the facility with a group of distinguished guests, Alex was quick to point out the various laboratories where human and Thalarian technologies were being integrated. "This is the culmination of a lot of hard work and collaboration," Alex explained to the group, his arms subtly around Lora's waist. "Each section you see has been designed with input from both Thalarian and human engineers." Lora, equally proud, chimed in, It's more than just a research center. It's a place where our cultures can come together to address some of the universe's most pressing challenges. Their tour guide, a bright young engineer named Tom, nodded enthusiastically. We're already seeing incredible results, especially in the fields of energy conversion and space travel efficiency. It's like each day brings a new discovery. The group moved through the facility, impressed by the seamless blend of technology and design. Cameras flashed as journalists captured the moment, symbolizing a new era of interspecies partnership. After the tour, Alex and Lora retreated to a quiet observation deck overlooking the construction site of what would soon be a joint residential area. It's amazing, isn't it? How far we've come, Alex mused, his gaze on the horizon. It is, Lora agreed. From hesitant allies to partners in life and work. Alex took her hand, his thoughts reflective. You know, there were moments when I wasn't sure we'd make it this far. The doubts, the bureaucratic hurdles, the cultural misunderstandings. But we did make it. Lora squeezed his hand, her tone firm. And it's because we believed in us. In this. They watched in silence for a few moments before Alex broke the stillness. So, what's next for us? I mean, personally? Lora turned to him, a playful yet thoughtful look in her eyes. I think we keep doing what we're doing. Grow together, learn from each other, face challenges as they come. And maybe, Alex prompted, a smile tugging at his lips. Maybe start thinking about a home. Not just here, but maybe on Thalaria too. I'd like you to see my world, Alex. Experience it not just as a visitor, but as family. Alex's heart swelled at the thought, his future with Lora unfolding in his mind. A life of shared adventures and merged worlds. I'd like that, and I think we're ready for it. As the sun set on the horizon, casting a golden glow over the facility, Alex and Lora stood together, united and optimistic about the future. They returned to the celebration inside, their spirits high and their hearts full of hope. The evening concluded with speeches and congratulations, but for Alex and Lora, the quiet moments on the observation deck remained the highlight. As they mingled among the guests, their thoughts were on each other, on the steps they would take next, together. The chapter closed on them looking out into the stars, the endless universe promising new journeys, new challenges, and infinite possibilities. Hand in hand, they faced the future, not just as representatives of their people, but as pioneers of a deep and enduring bond that had grown beyond expectations, guided by love and strengthened by shared dreams and aspirations.